Benji Cole, son of Al Cole from CBS Radio and host of the syndicated talk show, People of Distinction. A talk that gives you an in-depth view of some of the most dynamic, intelligent, and successful people on the planet. Run to our website, alcoleenterprises.com for more info. Email me through benji@alcoleenterprises.com if you'd like to get involved with what we have going. And as always, please continue to like and follow our broadcasts. People of Distinction is internationally syndicated solely due to the love and support that you all continue to give. We're available across all major distributors, and as long as you keep following, we're going to continue to put out the content. Now sit back and strap in, because on the line with us today, we have the impressive Dr. Tryphena R. Banks. And we're going to be discussing her amazing book, Bridging the Gap, A Survivor's Guide to the Gen Jungle, available for purchase through Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and a whole host of other places. But if you want to gather everything that Tryphena has in store, check out her personal website, banksofinspiration.com. There, you're going to find more information on her, more information on this amazing book, but also another book that she's written. And that one is called Stronger Than You Thought, Discovering Resilience in Unexpected Situations, both of which are available through the site. You're going to find hyperlinks there to take you to purchasing pages. I'm telling you, you got to check it out. Banksofinspiration.com is where you got to go. And before we go any further, I want to take this opportunity and point out the fact that Tryphena was brought to us by one of the best publishing firms in the business. People you already know, talking about Citi of Books. So for my writers out there who need help moving the book they just developed, contact Citi of Books, because this is exactly what they specialize in. You're going to want to head on over to cityofbooks.com and gather all the ways that their fantastic team is going to help you do just that. And listen, her book, Bridging the Gap, people, this is something special. All right. This is something that needs to be added to your shelf. It is layered. It is nuanced. It is going to offer insight into the clash of generations. Okay. Because here's the thing, if you're a millennial, you got a problem with the baby boomers. If you're a baby boomer, you got a problem with pretty much everybody. If you're Gen Z, you got this, you got that. I mean, listen, people, there's enough pointing the fingers to go around. Well, what happens when each of these generations are forced to work together to solve a problem? Well, in this compelling book, Tryphena answers exactly that, all right? Because she brings together 5 distinct generations in one room, each with their own experiences, values, and worldviews to uncover the truth behind our generational divides. Now, this book is, I say layered because it covers a lot, but it's also separated into different parts. You see, because one of the parts is a fictional narrative where you have characters, each coming from their own generation, that all have to come together to solve a problem together. Well, aside from that, it also is a self-help, an informational book that is going to offer tips to help you in your day-to-day lives coexist with those around you, regardless of generational divides. I'm telling you, as we navigate within our own lives, the conflict, the communication barriers, the surprising alliances that arise sometimes, this book is going to be what you need as a valuable resource, because that unity can happen. We don't always have to be divided. This is a book that is going to be a precipice to helping you destroy some of those barriers. And listen, at the end of the day, Tryphena is the expert, man. Let's bring her here with us to discuss it. Tryphena, first and foremost, welcome to People of Distinction, and thank you very much for being a guest. How are you doing today?
I am well. Thank you so much, Benji.
Fantastic. Well, listen, we're looking forward to this discussion, Tryphena. What you've done here, I think, is something special, man. It has a lot of wisdom to be gained. So thank you for writing it, and thank you for being here to discuss it.
Thank you for reading, and thank you for having me.
Of course. Absolutely. No, I really do mean it. Honestly, this was a wonderful read, and I know my listening audience is going to immensely benefit from it. Before we go into the book, though, tell us a little bit more about yourself and your background.
Okay. So my name is Tryphena Banks. I am originally from Liberia, West Africa,
Hmm.
and I live in New Jersey and been here for 39 years. I am a registered nurse and a nurse educator. I work with patients from all background, all age groups, and aside from my professional life, I am a single mother of 4 adult children and a grandmother of 7 beautiful children with number 8 on the way.
Well, there you have it. Well, listen, congratulations on what sounds like a beautifully large family that you've surrounded yourself with. Nothing but continued success. And without further ado, Bridging the Gap. Tell us a little bit more about your book.
Well, my book, Bridging the Gap, is a sociological genre, and it's also a self-help book. Bridging the Gap cover a lot of things that we experience every day in our personal lives and also in the workplace. We're working side by side with people from different generations. Bridging the Gap kind of cover generational differences and similarities in how we can work together if we are willing to listen and learn from other, from people from other generational backgrounds. We will realize that everybody has something special to offer, and a self-help book to, help professional people in higher leadership better deal with their employees and even with lower management, deal with their employees also. So it's a personal self-help book, and it's also helpful in this professional setting.
Yeah. Yeah, Tryphena, I'm curious, why did you feel compelled to write the book?
Well, I work in healthcare, and I work with so many people, working with people from different backgrounds and older people, younger people, and having, patients from pediatrics to geriatric. I talk a lot with my patients and my coworkers, and from, conversation about, young people, old people, or sometimes people say, during my time, we did X, Y, and Z. Nowadays, young kids are this way. So that kind of sparked, my interest. And I decided to look into that more closely to see if I can put together something to help people better understand generations that are not their own, because we tend to favor our own generation, and no generation is perfect. But if you ask a baby boomer, what they think about Gen X or Gen Z or the Alpha generation, their answer may be different from what members of those generations think of themselves or their generation. Yeah. Yeah, and I also want to add that an experience I had in 2014 when my third child, who is my oldest son, graduated high school. Going back to the silent generation, we had a gentleman, a U.S. veteran, who received his high school diploma after he was drafted to, for World War II, 70 years prior. So just seeing different generations walking across the same stage to receive their diploma the same day just, made me to give that extra appreciation for the older generation. And that kind of inspired me to look deeper and do a little research on the generational gap and to write my book.
Look, Tryphena, I'm right there with you. I get it. Now, I'm curious to know. I have my own speculations on this, but let's ask you. You're the person of the hour here. Why is it even important to understand different generations? Why can't we just all stay divided and not have to try to see or understand one another?
Well, it's important because we all want the same thing. We want better work environment. We want to be understood. We want inclusion. We want people not to stereotype us. So if we don't understand one another, how can we have all those good stuff? So to better understand other people's viewpoint, you need to understand their background, where they're coming from, why they think the way they do, why they have this work ethic. For example, the Southern generation, why they took so much interest in holding on to stuff and saving and not just buying things because they want this. They didn't indulge in luxury because of the Great Depression. Those people was, brought up during the Great Depression. A lot of them in this country, especially the men, was drafted. And a lot of them went to fight for the country, left their family, came back with nothing. So when you're dealing with people from those generations, even though most of them are no longer in the work field, but they are patients now. They are granddad, great-grandmother. So you have to better understand them. And when you walk a mile in a person's shoes, you tend to have more respect for them and understand where they're coming.
Well, I love that answer. And, listen, I mean, in a very basic form, you're talking about empathy, right? Being able to understand and meet somebody where they are because you can view it from their perspective. And a lot of times, let's take music for an example. Right? Listen, I talk to some of the older members of my family. They look at some of the music that I listen to and they're like, what the hell is this? I don't understand. In my life, we had real music. And then I look at some of my younger, members of my family. And I see myself doing the exact same thing that was done to me now onto them. As much as I try to avoid it, Tryphena, I'm getting old. What can I say? We're not going to say we're getting old. We're getting seasoned here is what we're doing.
Right. And it's human nature. We are very judgmental beings. We tend to think that our way is better, and if we don't understand what someone else is doing, then maybe it's not the right way, or maybe something is wrong with them. But we have to understand that your norm may not be my norm, and what you went through, what your experience and what you have to offer, it's also important, just as important as what I have to offer. So why shouldn't I listen to you? Why shouldn't I get to understand where you're coming from?
Yeah.
If I want a better relationship.
Absolutely. That makes perfect sense. People, you got to pick up copies. Again, it's called Bridging the Gap, A Survivor's Guide to the Gen Jungle by Dr. Tryphena R. Banks. It's Amazon, it's Barnes & Noble, it's banksofinspiration.com. Tryphena, my follow-up question now, I'm curious, as you were creating this book, in preparation for writing it, and even as you were creating it itself, how did your personal perspective on the generational divide or just really generational dynamics change or shift as you were going through this process?
Well, I now have more respect for the younger generation because I'm also one of those people who thought, the younger ones are entitled, they are lazy, yes, because we really don't take the time to talk to them, but during the process of writing books, I had the opportunity to, sit with my two older grandchildren who are now ages 11 and 13, and I asked them, what do they think of me as their grandmother or people in my age group when it comes to technology or understanding them, and I told them to be honest. I said, listen, grandma will not get upset with you. Just be honest and tell me, what do you think? And I was surprised. They understand us better than we give them credit for, because my two grandsons said, well, a lot of people your age don't have that much experience with technology because, grandma, you work all the time. If you're working and you're paying bills, you don't have time to sit on the computer to know all these different games and technology and everything. So then I told them, I said, but do you understand that older people started technology? And I told them a little bit about Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, and all those people who started, and, Apple and all of that. I said, so being older doesn't mean that you don't know, but you just know it in a different way and you use it in a different way. And they're both nodding yes, we know. So it gives you more respect for them because they understand. They're not judging. But the older generation, we tend to judge a lot compared to the younger generation, unfortunately.
Well, call a spade a spade. Yeah, we do it. We tend to do it. Listen, Tryphena, I love this book. I love what it represents. As we close out of this one, because I do want to give you an opportunity to touch slightly on your other book, is there anything else you would like to leave our listening audience with for anything pertaining to Bridging the Gap?
Well, Bridging the Gap helps people to understand different generations and why they do what they do, and it helps to build teamwork, team collaboration, improve communication, and it's a great book for people in HR, for management, or just being in a relationship or dealing with older people or even younger people or parents communicating with their children. It will help a lot. They have a lot of tips in the book that anybody can use to better their relationship, be it personal or professional. So, get a copy and read. Great information in the book.
There you have it. There you have it. People, as I mentioned before, her other book is called Stronger Than You Thought, Discovering Resilience in Unexpected Situations. As we close out of here, Tryphena, tell us a little bit more about that other book so we know what to expect when we pick it up.
Stronger Than You Thought is about my life. It's an autobiography and an inspirational book. Like I said earlier, I'm originally from Liberia, and I've been in this country for 39 years. I grew up in the single-family household because my parents were never married, and I experienced some trauma in my childhood, unfortunately. Sexual trauma, physical abuse, neglect, and I was told that I would be nothing. And when you talk that to a child, sometimes they tend to believe it. And looking for love, I, found myself getting into relationships that were not good for me. But then something clicked in me that made me realize that I can do better. So I pushed. Even with having 4 children, being divorced, raising children by myself, I work hard, but I, pushed. I was determined to, gain a better education, have better life, to, give back in my community, be an example to young people and even to my own children. So I work hard to overcome, whatever I went through and to push through, starting as somebody working in a hair braiding shop, cleaning people's home, and even working at Federal Express as a handler. I took one course at a time at a community college, and it took me years, but I got my nursing. Then I went on to get my master's in nursing education, and now I have my doctorate. So Stronger Than You Thought is just to give voice to people who are victims of abuse and think that nobody understands them or they can't do it. So in the book, I let people know that the readers know that when you give up, you become a victim. But when you speak out, when you stand up and do something positive, then you become a victor.
I love that. People, that's what we call a mic drop, right? You go from being a victim to a victor. I love it. People, again, I'm telling you, these books need to be on your shelves. I can sit here and I can talk to her for hours. The point has been made and you all got it. It's one more time. It's Amazon. It's Barnes & Noble. It's banksofinspiration.com. Starts with Bridging the Gap, a survivor's guide to the Gen Jungle, but also look into her other book, Stronger Than You Thought. One thing that you're going to realize when you read it is you are stronger than you thought. I've always been a very firm believer that God doesn't place anything on your path that you aren't strong enough to overcome. And it may not feel like it in the moment, but utilize her book as wisdom, as courage, as inspiration to help you tackle the mountain that's in front of you. And once you start to chip away at it, you'll realize You had the strength all along. Tryphena, this has been an absolute pleasure, a true delight. Thank you once again for being a guest on People of Distinction.
Thank you very much for having me. It was great talking to you. Thank you very much.